Two ANC members of parliament have lost their seats. Tyotyo and Sibusiso Kula, who's facing murder charges, have both been absent from parliament since May. It's believed that more expulsions may be on the cards. The governing party is also taking a tougher stance, it appears, on MPs who've gone against the party line during votes in the National Assembly. For more on this, let's speak to Professor Kedibone Phago, who's the director of the School of Government Studies at the Northwest University. A very good evening to you, sir. Good to have your time. So it's one thing, of course, for the party to act against an MP who has not followed procedure around declarations, and one in the case of Kula in the Northern Cape who's accused of killing his wife. What appears to be sparking the most controversy here is the ANC about to institute, according to Daily Maverick, disciplinary processes against those who've gone against the party line, including Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. Is that the right step at this time?
And thank you so much for having us here. And I'm sorry because my connection was not very good. So I'm just holding, but it looks very strong now.
We can see you, Doctor. Don't worry. Professor, apologies. We can see you clearly.
Thank you so much. So and thank you for, I think this is an important development for the ANC and for the parliament, for the country, as you are raising this matter. For me, I think it is something important that should have been happening all the time, and not only for the ANC, but also for all the political parties. But much more, Tembekile, for me, this is an important matter for South Africans on how should we really deal with the issues of members of parliament in terms of their discipline, in terms of their activities in parliament. There are two issues for me at play. The first issue is our electoral system. When we go for elections, as this is the time for campaigning for the 2024 elections, having politicians campaigning for the elections, and they go to parliament, so they are using a political party ticket to go to parliament, and we call that a representative democracy. The challenge, which leads me to the second issue, is that when they go to parliament, they are sworn in and their allegiance is on the basis of the constitution. So I'm mixing the two issues that you are raising, the members, and also the issue of Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, who voted using her conscience. So we are dealing with these two issues as a country and not really so sure what is in the best interest of South Africans or the electorates, because it looks like we are at the mercy of the decisions of political parties, which I think is a tragedy that really needs our attention as a society. And
we must caveat this conversation, of course, by saying that this is being reported by Daily Maverick, that action against those who've gone against the party line, including Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, is imminent. But the ANC Chief Whip in Parliament, Penny Majodina, did hint at the time of the previous vote that indeed, because Dr. Dlamini-Zuma was not in the House, that the party needed to take action. Now, when you take action against someone with that sort of profile in the ANC, whose popularity, some would say, even saw her contest for the presidency, how does the party do that? How do they run the process without a spillover effect that may further fracture the already shaky ground of unity within the ANC?
On point on that one. I think I fully agree with your sentiments that it is definitely going to have some spillovers. There will be some reactions from her own constituency in terms of pushing back to try and say, this is our leader and you will have to retain her. But on the one hand, there will always be a pressure on the ANC because it has previously acted on members that have, used their own conscience in parliament to vote differently. So it is sitting in a situation that needs to be addressed. But as we are leading up to the elections for 2024, I think it's going to have some major risks for the ANC to deal with in the process. So I agree with your sentiment in full.
Can the ANC afford to go into the elections with that potential fracture at this point, given that we're likely to see a general election by the IEC estimates within the next 8 months, possibly by May?
So indeed, and because her constituency is largely in the KZN area, so we are and have seen some of the reports indicating that the IFP is going to be contesting that space strongly, and that may actually see the ANC getting below 50%, and this may actually contribute even more to that situation. And so we should wait to see what are the soft landing interventions from the ANC, because it will in a way affect them negatively in KZN. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Kedibone Phago.